Hello there, we are back with Kerbal Space Program, where we solve every problem of aeronautics by just doing it with more force. Last video, we got to orbit, and gained some science, but now it is time to start advancing further on, such as a Mun flyby. The first rocket we're gonna make is the Ton of Ton 3, with our new Terrier engine for better efficiency in space. We add this massive bottom stage because I feel like it, 2 random engines to the side of the liquid stage, and let's get to launching.
We have a liftoff.
Right as we get off the launch pad, the rocket is basically uncontrollable because I still haven't really figured it out yet. It goes very straight, but basically just slams into the atmosphere for no reason. The apoapsis is unbelievably high, so we just can't circularize, and let's get onto. This time, I opt for a bigger liquid stage because the rocket seems to be able to carry a lot of weight to orbit. I also do a little coloring, but it's time to get onto the launch pad again. This time, it does turn a bit to the side to start orbiting, but the rocket is still pointing way too straight, so the same overheating problem is still there. We get a really high apoapsis again, but this time, I seem to forget about how to orbit, so I press the spacebar once again. Onto. Finally, we add wings to the vehicle and 2 more of those thud engines, hoping to get some better thrust out of this. The turn seems to work better this time, but now it is as wonky as before, and it's going all over the place. I try to circularize, but the excess thrust makes my rocket super unstable, so I click the spacebar once again, so onto. This time, I just get rid of the thud engines, because they aren't doing us any good. The first time we launch, I pull the wings too much and it flips, but the second time it seems to turn pretty normally. We do still need some wings in the solid rocket boosters, so we add those. Okay, so after like a billion more times, I finally get the rocket to orbit, because before I was just winging it. My final design was to have 4 rocket boosters with a Reliant engine stage, and then have the lighter Terrier stage later on. We finally get to orbit, after wasting like 2 hours, and I try to make a transfer to the Mun. I tried to do it without any help, but of course I mess it up and just miss the Mun. A little video later, I learn from the masters of the game that you can use this maneuver mode to assist in your mission. After a few tries, I get a pretty high flyby of the Mun, and start time warping to the maneuver node, and with about 3,000 meters of Delta 5, I start up the engine. Next to the Mun, we gather some much needed science, and leave as quickly as we entered. I made the maneuver to land us back in a free return trajectory, so it's time for a light show. Touching down on the water after 2 days of the missions, Jed returns to us with a nice bunch of 36 science. We immediately invest in flight stability, and prepare for an even closer flyby of the Mun. For this task, we at the Kerbal Laboratory come up with the same rocket but with a smaller liquid stage, because last time we have 2,000 meters left over, and some very nice stability fins. We also give Bob a try at flying the rocket. We call it the Mun 10-1, and send it off for launching. Our little spacecraft gets us into a pretty good low Kerbin orbit, and we plan our course back to the Mun. My fingers accidentally press the thrust more, so we have to do that all again. We scrape by the Mun on its dark side. Once back into Kerbin's sphere of influence, we start burning back to lower our periapsis to below 70,000 meters. Unfortunately, I forgot to do those science experiments, so it's time to head back to the Mun again. At a cool 10,000 meters above the surface, we start doing those experiments, and start to make our way home. After a lot of aerobraking, we make it down to the surface. Bob jumps out and plays with the water a little, but we recover the vessel. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but the science we did was lost, so again, we gotta do that again. We get some nice science that time, but we need slightly more for the next technology, so I will be cheesing it a little by using this stupid looking thing. It takes me a few tries, but we get enough science for some basic science. This unlocks some batteries, which I will be using to transfer data home wirelessly. We assemble the Hend 1, and launch it off into space again. Unluckily, I don't get as much science as I expected, so in the next video, I'll plan to go to Minmus to carry out important research, and maybe even land on Mun, but we'll see then. For now, please subscribe.